Good evening. This is my leadership structure for USD 440 Halstead Bentley. So it starts with our Board of Education. They represent our community and they're chosen by our community, and they're going to make the really big decisions for our school. And they and they make the hirings. So that's why, obviously just below is our superintendent. Our superintendent, hired by the board, works for the board, and they work very closely together and have a great relationship. But the superintendent does ultimately work for the Board of Education, and the same goes on down the line. We're lucky enough to have a director of student learning, similar to a curriculum coordinator. However, our director of student learning focuses a lot on using technology in the classroom. And we recently made the transition to being an Apple school. So she spends a lot of her time making sure that teachers know enough about Apple to be able to utilize the iPads in their classrooms, and looking for, hey, what resources are needed and different things like that. So she does a lot of work with our professional development days, and always looking for new opportunities with technology, and it's a great part of our district. Below her are the three building principals. Our head high school, junior high, elementary, they have their own significant roles at their schools, all different from one another. But I would say, they're not at the district office. They're going to be the next people in line. And it was difficult for me to place our assistant principal, athletic director. He has a very significant role in our district. However, he is not necessarily focusing on school policy. And so I put him just below our head high school principal. Our AP and AD, he focuses mainly on discipline, and then is the athletic director for 7-12 sports. So his focus is a little bit more on the students and then athletics. And so I put him just below there, although his role is still significant. Just below him is a parent organization called the Dragon Backers. Their focus is raising money and helping the school, specifically athletics. Oftentimes they sell shirts, they run concession stands, do other things to raise money, specifically for kind of the extra things that you need for athletics. We are very fortunate, I would say, to have almost every need met for technology wants and other things like that by our district. But sometimes there's things that you want or need in your athletics, and you can't fit it in the budget. So the Dragon Backers helps to support that. Counselors is next, from our assistant principal AD and our other principals. So the counselors work very closely with our principals. They're looking at, hey, what students need extra help, what's the schedule looking like, curriculum, and I know all of our counselors have great relationships with their principals and work closely, and oftentimes have to put on a principal hat at times as well. So they are just below principals in that. Below them, you start having the teachers, building leadership teams with teachers from each school, from each of the schools. Our building leadership teams play a significant role at Halstead, and they often help out the administrators. At the high school, we have two younger administrators who have just moved to the community, and so sometimes they don't know what the traditions are or what's been done in the past, and so the building leadership team often helps them with that, and they employ a very democratic type of leadership where the building leadership team is going to be able to communicate with principals and help in making policy and different things like that. Next, our APLS team, which is basically an Apple technology leadership team. I'm on the APLS team, so we work very closely with the technology director. and with the Director of Student Learning, just in helping to assist other teachers in their teaching and using technology in that teaching, specifically Apple technology, since we are an Apple school. Next is teachers, followed by paraprofessionals, and then also Stuco and K's clubs on the other side. Those are student clubs. They do a lot for the community. Obviously, Stuco is student government, but they've also had great conversations. The leaders of those clubs have had great conversations with our administration, in that has led to changes in our school and led to policy changes. And so I think ultimately, looking at the leadership structure of USD 440, we are a smaller school, which allows us to do this, but I think we are ultimately a democratic leadership structure, because from the top down, I think people are comfortable with going and talking to their bosses and asking for resources, asking for, hey, maybe think about a change or an adaptation to a policy. I would feel confident going and talking to my principals. I would feel confident going and talking to my superintendent, a Board of Education member, and I think that's really valuable. And just looking at the quote from Gale and Dinsmore, democratic educational leaders establish conditions conducive to the development of social, learning, and culturally responsive organizations and employ strategies that might enable their achievement. I think ultimately, improving learning, improving social emotional, and just improving the overall environment of our schools is our goal. And it doesn't matter who comes up with the idea. At Halstead, we want to be great and we want to help our students. So that's our leadership structure. Look forward to the comments. Thank you.